Today we're taking a deep look at something most people never touch, but it's incredibly powerful, setting up and installing Windows directly from the command prompt. Now, the DISM image management command line options are very extensive. There are loads of things you can do from command prompt, but to make things easier, Windows provides a GUI, or graphical user interface, which is what makes Windows usable for most people. You've got your start menu, your taskbar, and all the things you use on a daily basis. But on the back end, there are a lot of instructions happening that you never actually see. So when we're creating partitions, formatting drives, and doing all of this setup work, running these instructions inside command prompt is essentially doing the exact same thing as using the desktop through the user interface. Here we're at the Windows Setup boot screen, and from here we can press Shift plus F10 to open the command prompt window. From this point, we can fully set up Windows and even install it entirely from the command prompt if we want to. I'm going to walk you through some of the basic steps you would need to follow to do that. The first thing we need to do is open DiskPart. DiskPart is a very powerful tool that allows us to configure our system disks. Once DiskPart is open, we type list disk, which shows all available drives. You might also see people use the shortcut list disk, which does the same thing and is faster, but to avoid confusion, especially for beginners, I'm going to stick with the full list disk command. Now that we can see our disks, we need to select the correct one. In this case, we're going to select disk 1, which is our 100 GB drive. Once the disk is selected, we type clean, which completely wipes the disk. There are other variations of this command, such as clean all, and a few additional switches you can use, which you can check on Microsoft's documentation. Next, we convert the disk to GPT, which is required for EFI systems. Alternatively, you could use convert MBR if you're setting up a legacy system. Once this command runs, you'll see a confirmation message showing that the selected disk has been successfully converted to GPT. Now we need to create a partition, so we use create partition primary. You can also shorten this by using par instead of typing the full word partition, which saves time when you're typing these commands repeatedly. After creating the primary partition, we need to format it. We can use format fs equals ntfs or format fs equals fat32, depending on what we want to use the drive for. In this case, we're formatting it as ntfs, and we also need to give it a label, which is basically the drive name. We'll call this one storage, then press enter. The drive will now begin formatting, and once it's complete, you'll see a confirmation message showing that the format has finished successfully. If this were an MBR disk, we could also mark the partition as active using the active command, but since this is a GPT disk, that step isn't required. The next thing we need to do is assign a drive letter. As long as the letter isn't already in use, we can choose any letter we want. In this case, we're going to assign the letter S, with S standing for storage. Once that's done, the drive is fully set up and ready to use. You can assign whatever drive letter you want here, but in this case, we've assigned the letter S, and the drive is now fully set up. At this point, we're pretty much done, so we can exit out and quickly take a look at what we've just created. All we need to do now is type Notepad, which opens Notepad from the command prompt. From there, we go to File, click Open, select this PC, and you'll see the drive we just created. There it is, labeled Storage. This is the drive we formatted and assigned the drive letter S. Now, of course, these days we don't usually have to go through all of this manually. Windows provides a graphical user interface where you can create, format, delete, expand, and shrink drives visually, which is much easier and faster compared to opening DiskPart and running a long list of commands like we used to do many years ago. That said, understanding this process is still very important. From here, we can move on and create our C drive, as well as an EFI boot partition. You can see that I've gone back into DiskPart, listed the disks again, and selected disk 0, because we're going to set this one up properly for a Windows installation. So why am I showing you this when Windows Setup can do it automatically? Because it's educational, and it helps you understand exactly what's happening behind the scenes. We start by converting the disk to GPT, and once that's done successfully, we change things slightly because this time we need two partitions, one for the Windows operating system and another for the boot files. To do that, we create a small EFI system partition, usually around 500 megabytes, which is more than enough. We format this partition as FAT32 because that's what an EFI partition requires. We can assign a drive letter if we want to, although normally this partition stays hidden, and it can also be hidden later once we're back at the desktop. After that, we create another primary partition, which is going to be our C drive. We use the create partition primary command, then format it using NTFS, not FAT32, because this will be the main Windows drive. If we want to speed things up, we can add the quick option for a quick format. Once formatting is complete, we assign the drive letter C, and at this point we're almost finished. As you can see, this process is very similar to using the graphical interface, except everything is being done manually through command prompt. From here, we just need to finish off the remaining steps, and the system is ready for the next stage of the Windows installation. Once this part is done, I'll show you exactly what we've created, and then we can move on to the installation itself. At this stage, I've already shown you how to set up the C drive, the 500 megabytes FAT32 EFI system partition, and the additional storage drive. With all of that prepared, we can now close everything out. The next step is simply to gather the WIM information from the Windows installation media. I'll change the directory over to my D drive, then move into the sources folder and type dir, and as you can see, the install.wim file is located right here. This command is what instructs Windows to install from that specific directory on the D drive. Your drive letter may be different depending on your system, but the process remains exactly the same. Once we run the command, Windows will begin installing directly from that location. Of course, we also need to specify which version of Windows we want to install, and that opens up a whole new set of options. For example, if we want the Pro Edition, we would select Index 6, and Windows will begin installing either Windows 11 Pro or Windows 10 Pro, depending on the image. If you prefer the Home Edition, that usually corresponds to a different index number, which you'll need to check for your own installation media. Once the correct index is selected, the installation process begins. And that's pretty much it. That's how you prepare the drives and start installing Windows entirely from the command prompt. With that said, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video on TechGitter Official.